World War II didn't change because of one giant battle first. It changed because of one day. A day that began with a quiet ocean, a radar screen that looked wrong, and a warning that didn't sound urgent. But here is the truth. In the next 24 hours, decisions will be made that cannot be taken back. And by the time the world understands what just happened, the war will no longer be over there. It will be everywhere. This is the 24 hours that changed World War II forever. This is an animated timeline, but I want you to feel it like a story, like you are standing inside the moment, watching it unfold second by second. We will follow 3 places at once: Hawaii, where the sky will turn into fire; the Pacific Ocean, where a hidden operation is moving like a ghost; and Washington, D.C., where a man is about to choose words that will send a nation into war. And as you listen, keep one question in your mind. If a few small decisions had been different, would history have changed? Because this story is not only about what happened, it is about how close it came to happening another way. Out on the Pacific Ocean, the night is black and endless. The sea looks calm, but it is not peaceful, because hidden in that darkness is a moving shadow. 6 aircraft carriers, escorts around them, fuel ships behind them, a full strike force sliding across the water like it is holding its breath. No radio messages, no loud chatter, no mistakes. On those decks, pilots sleep in their uniforms. Some pretend they are calm. Some stare at the ceiling and count the hours. Some write quick notes they never planned to send. Every man in that fleet knows something. By sunrise, the world will be different. And once the first bomb falls, there is no apology that can pull it back. The fleet draws closer, closer. The ocean keeps the secret. And far away, on a tiny island in the middle of the Pacific, thousands of people are sleeping under the most dangerous silence of their lives. The attack has not started yet, but the story has already passed the point of no return. In Hawaii, morning arrives gently. The sun rises like it always does. The air is warm. The streets are quiet. Some soldiers wake up tired and bored. Some joke about plans for later. Some polish boots. Some complain about duty like it is just another Sunday. In the harbor, ships sit still, heavy and proud. They look like they are resting. They look untouchable. Families make breakfast. People prepare for church. A normal day is unfolding. And that normal feeling is exactly what makes what happens next so brutal. Because danger is always strongest when it looks impossible. In a few minutes, somebody will see the warning, and the warning will be real, but it will not sound real. On the northern side of Oahu, in a small radar station, 2 operators are watching a screen. It is routine work, the kind of work that feels boring. Then the screen changes. A large formation appears. Not one plane, not a small group, a huge cluster. The operators lean forward. They check again. They stare like their eyes can confirm what the machine is saying. They report it. And here is the moment where the entire world holds its breath without knowing. The report reaches a man who makes a simple assumption. He believes those planes must be friendly aircraft expected that morning, so the warning is brushed aside. The operators look back at the screen. The blips keep moving. The formation keeps coming. And in that small room, in that small moment, the future is approaching fast. That one assumption will become one of the most expensive seconds in history. Outside, the island continues to breathe normally. Birds move, cars pass, men laugh. But inside the sky, something is changing. The first wave is arriving. Planes line up. Pilots lock in. Orders are clear. The fleet far out at sea has done its job. Now the pilots must do theirs. And on the ground, most people still have no idea that the peaceful morning is about to break. The next sound Hawaii hears will not be a warning, it will be the beginning. At 7:48 a.m., the first wave hits. It doesn't arrive slowly, it arrives like something falling from the heavens. Explosions, smoke, sirens, metal screaming. People run outside and freeze because their brains refuse to accept what their eyes are seeing. Some think it is a drill for half a second. Some shout, some drop to the ground, some sprint without knowing where they are going. On the bases, the response begins, but it is not smooth. It is messy, because surprise is designed to make even trained people react like ordinary humans. Phones ring, officers search for information, orders collide. Everything happens at once. And the attackers move fast, because speed is part of the weapon. This is the shock plan. Hit hard, hit fast, leave the enemy confused, make them feel helpless. But in the middle of this destruction, there is a twist. The attackers came to kill the future, and the future is not where they expected it to be. The attack keeps going, wave after wave. Ships burn, aircraft are destroyed where they sit. The harbor becomes a place of smoke and panic. But while the world watches this moment later as a perfect surprise attack, history quietly slips in a detail that matters. America's aircraft carriers are not in the harbor, they are away. That sounds small, but it is not small, because carriers will become the new kings of the sea. Carriers move, carriers strike, carriers survive by not being still. And because they are not destroyed this morning, a path remains open for America to fight back later. Another detail hides behind the chaos too. Some key facilities that matter for long war survival are not wiped out in a way that ends recovery. So yes, Japan wins the morning, but the war is not decided in one morning. The raid ends around 9:45 a.m. The planes pull away, the noise reduces, but now another fear rises. People don't know if it's over. They don't know if another wave is coming. They don't know if this is the beginning of something even larger. The island stands there, shocked, bleeding, and waiting. Pearl Harbor is the explosion, but the turning point is what happens after the explosion. Messages begin to fly out of Hawaii. Reports rush through military channels. Numbers are guessed, damage is counted, names are checked. Some people are still trapped inside confusion, others are already thinking ahead. Because every commander is asking one question now: what happens next? And when the news reaches the mainland, it hits like a second blast. Not a physical blast, a mental one. Because Americans realize something they never wanted to believe. If the ocean could not protect them, then nowhere is truly safe. And now the story shifts to the most powerful weapon of all: words. In Washington, D.C., the day turns cold. Phones ring in government buildings. Men in suits stop mid-sentence. Faces harden. Rooms go quiet. At first, the news comes in pieces. A message here, a call there, a report that sounds too crazy to be real. Then those pieces lock together. Pearl Harbor has been attacked. In the White House, the atmosphere changes, not like a normal crisis, like a door slamming shut. Because leaders understand instantly, this is not just Hawaii, this is not just the Pacific, this is a statement to the world. A statement that says, the war can reach you. Now the pressure becomes unbearable. The country needs a voice, a plan, a direction. And Franklin D. Roosevelt must choose something that will shape history. Not only what to do, but how to say it. Because the way he says it will decide how the public feels, and the public's feelings will decide how the nation moves. Somewhere tonight, a sentence is being written that will send millions of men into war. Night falls, but nobody feels calm. On the mainland, people gather near radios. Families speak in low voices. Some cry, some pray, some just stare at walls, trying to understand how a normal morning became this. In Washington, lights stay on late, papers stack up, drafts are written, words are crossed out, because the next speech cannot be weak. If it sounds weak, enemies will smell it. If it sounds confused, the country will panic. So the words must be sharp, simple, unforgettable. Meanwhile, across the ocean, the strike force is pulling away, quiet again, hidden again. And in that retreat, there is another truth. The attackers achieved surprise, yes, but they have also awakened a sleeping giant. And once a sleeping giant awakes, it does not go back to sleep easily. The bombs are done, but the turning point is still ahead. It arrives at sunrise in a room of silence. As the hours crawl towards morning, the country feels like it is holding its breath. Soldiers prepare for what comes next.
New orders move. New defenses tighten. People who never cared about the war before suddenly cared deeply, because the war has now reached their imagination. And inside Washington, the speech is ready. A few lines, a few words, but history has always been made by a few words at the right time. December 8, 1941, Roosevelt appears before Congress. The room is heavy, not loud, heavy. You can almost feel everyone thinking the same thing. This is the moment. Roosevelt begins to speak. He does not shout like a man trying to perform. He speaks like a man who knows the world has crossed a line. He names the day. He frames it as deliberate. He turns shock into meaning. Then comes the sentence, a date which will live in infamy. In that moment, everything becomes official. America declares war on Japan. And now the war changes shape. Now it is not only Europe's war, not only the Pacific's war, it is a world war in full. The biggest industrial power on Earth is committed, and that changes the mathematics of victory. But the story is not finished, because after this, the war grows even bigger. After Pearl Harbor, events accelerate, the world reacts, alliances tighten, new decisions lock in, and the war becomes a different monster. More production, more ships, more planes, more soldiers, more secret missions, more intelligence battles behind the scenes. This day was not the ending. This day was the door opening. And if you want, the next episodes can follow what happens next. Midway, Stalingrad, D-Day, Enigma and code breaking. Hidden operations that decide outcomes without the public ever seeing the full picture. So what changed in these 24 hours? A hidden fleet proved distance means nothing. A warning was seen and misunderstood. A nation moved from shock to commitment, and the world stepped into a phase of World War II that could not be reversed. History sometimes turns on huge battles, but sometimes history turns on a clock. And on this day, the clock hit 0. If you enjoyed this story-style animated timeline, subscribe right now, because the next WW2 episode will be even more intense. Like this video so more history lovers can find it, and share it with a friend who loves hidden operations and turning points. Comment below, do you think Pearl Harbor was more a military turning point or a psychological turning point?